Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you this morning. Got the Aces and Eights shirt on at the gym. Had a good little workout. About to go get some snack and then head on into work. Thought for our wrestling discussion video of the day would discuss the topic of Jeff Hardy and TNA. I think everybody out there who's been paying attention to any sort of dirt sheets through these last few weeks has known the TNA has filmed a shitload of shows with a shitload of angles, trying to make sure that you're going to pay attention during all these shows that you probably know the outcome to, but you're going to be wanting to watch the shows in order to see maybe how the body language is of guys during promos, to see how this stuff's really going to play out in real life. It seems that Jeff Hardy wrestled a match, thanked all the fans for all of his time in TNA, much like AJ Styles did, and said that he was done and he was heading home. To me, the first thing that I thought of was how stupid this was, because after the Impact after lockdown, when he lost the TNA title to Bully Ray and Aces and Eights, he said that he was going to go home and he was retired and he didn't want to wrestle anymore because he felt that he had let down everyone by losing to Aces and Eights and losing the title, and seeing how they now had all of the power in Impact Wrestling. And then he sat home for a while, and then he just came back out of the middle of nowhere with no angle behind it, just came out there and wrestled a match, and he was back in TNA again. It didn't make any sense at all. They didn't back up their storyline. They didn't, sort of tease that he was going to join Aces and Eights. Didn't come back saying that he wanted to win his title back and join Aces and Eights. Just was Jeff Hardy and was just a guy on the show once again. There's a whole lot of talk that Jeff isn't really leaving, and this is just their storyline way of saying that he's not going to be wrestling when they go over to the UK on their next tour. He has some visa issues due to his arrest problem when he first joined TNA, and it's part of his, I guess you can say, probation that he agreed to, not being able to leave the country, with all the problems he had, where he was, basically they did the drugs thing and arrested him in his house because he was receiving drugs through the mail, and you all remember that story. It wasn't that long ago. Do I think that Jeff Hardy is going to be leaving TNA in the next little while? No. But I think Jeff Hardy is probably at the top of the list of guys that TNA wants to keep, but TNA doesn't want to pay these guys. As you can see with AJ Styles, he is a free agent as of this weekend. He could show up on Monday Night Raw if he wanted to. Do I think he's going to? No. If this was during the WCW and WWE Monday Night Wars back in the day, I think Monday Night Raw and like Eric Bischoff's gonna walk out there and sign the guy like he's the real GM of Raw, like he's really gonna just Raw's gonna sign him. That was stupid. But is WWE gonna sign AJ Styles? More than likely not. But back in the day, if this was during the Monday Night Wars, I think that WWE, without a doubt, would have signed him just so TNA couldn't have had him. I don't think if WWE did sign him and put him on Monday Night Raw, I think that it would be a big reaction that would ripple through the wrestling Twitter pages, and everybody's be posting it on Facebook, everything like that. But I think that after he has his initial debut, whatever they would do with him, I think that honestly by Royal Rumble, especially by WrestleMania time, AJ would just be sort of a guy that they would have under contract, much like if you look at Christian, or if you look at R-Truth, or these other guys that have came through WWE. Look at what they're doing right now with Xavier Woods. This guy, he was a TNA guy. They signed him. They put him through developmental, which seemed like 3 years. And once he finally comes up, now he's just wrestling in a feud with Brodus Clay in order to get Brodus Clay over as a heel. Do I think that in the end, maybe Xavier might get one win over Brodus that'll shock the world? Yes, but then you got to move on to what's Xavier going to do next. And it's not like he's going to be battling against Big E Langston, or who the fuck is the U.S. champion? Dean Ambrose. It's not like he's going to be going out and doing that. Jeff Hardy, more than likely, I think is going to keep wrestling for TNA. He's got a deal, I believe, that's through the next year in 2015, which means he wouldn't be able to jump till right before WrestleMania 31. But I think that definitely, if he is to sit down at the table and try to re-talk his contract and get an extension with TNA, I think he's going to run into the same problem that AJ had, where they're trying to cut costs. More than likely, I would say that Jeff Hardy is probably their most expensive wrestler that they have on their roster. And word is that they're trying to get guys. You can look at EC3, just guys who are going to wrestle on the cheap, and they promise that they'll use them good. And I guess you can make him a TV star that, hopefully people want to book on their independent shows to make more money for them, when they're not filming Impact. Right now, TNA isn't like a real wrestling company of the past. They're more of just a basic TV show. They're going to run sporadic pay-per-views. Looks like maybe 2, maybe 3 a year from now on. House shows might be even getting fully cut. Unless it's like a big WrestleMania weekend show or something like that they know they can pull fans into. They don't want to take the gamble of losing money on these house shows and going from there. But Jeff Hardy, I think that unless he wants to work just on the dirt cheap, where he just knows he's going to be getting a check, wrestling 2 to 3 times a month. I know he wrestles for Omega, his brother's wrestling company, every once in a while, but I don't really think that Matt and Omega can really pay him all that much. I think that him trying to get out of TNA and getting back over to WWE would be in his best graces, and seeing what they can do with him to help him in his career on a high note.